Hello, my name is Luis Ortiz, and today I'll be doing the project of stacking cups. And because I am doing it late, I will be doing both the student and the mentor aspect. So yeah, let's begin. So I, as a mentor, would ask the students, or would first explain to the students that when stacking a cup, you could only stack it the amount of times the cup has. So here we only have one cup, so we can only go one time to the right, right? And vice versa. If you have one cup here, we can only go one time to the left. And depending on the amount of cups you have is the amount of times you have to move to the left or the right, depending on which side you're on. So for example, we click this cup and we have to go one, two times to the left because it has two cups. And vice versa, we click this example, we go one, two, because it has two cups. And when you land on this side, for example, this side, now you have four cups, right? And here we have four cups here and one cup here. And because we have one cup here, we could simply just move to the right and we won the game. So to restart, I would ask the students to figure out a strategy to see how many times we could stack the cup and if there's a pattern, right? So I would ask the students, oh, can you please show me your strategy for stacking a cup? And the students will say, well, okay, we look at number two and we go one time to the left. And then we look at number three, we go one time to the right. And now we have three sections where we have cups. Here we could move number five to number four. And then since we have one, two, three cups, we can move it one, two, three cups to the left. And it works. And as a mentor, I'd be like, okay, good job. Is there another way you could do it? And then the student will say, well, we could do it vice versa. So we could first start um, moving cups. Oh, sorry. We could first start from the right. We could go um, one cup over here. And then we have number five to number four. And we have number two to number one. And then we get simply over here. So then I would ask them if it's random. Like, is there a way where this doesn't work or a way where it's just not the same? And then they would just figure out, they would play around with it. They'd be like, maybe if we start from number one to number two, and then from number three to number four, and maybe number five to number four, we would see that it only works from two to four, but not from four to two. So one, two, three, one, two, boom, it works. And they would figure out these strategies, and I'd be like, oh, awesome. Um, would this strategy change if you add another cup? And then they would play around with it. They would be like, I think it would change because now we have more cups, but we could try to figure it out. So again, they would start from like number three to number two, and then maybe they would go from number five to number four to number five. They'd go maybe number six to number five, number one to number two. Now we have one, two, three over here, one, two, three over here, one, two, three, and it works. This is awesome. So the student would be like, okay, we could do it this way. And then I would ask them, can you find another way? And then maybe the student would be like, yeah, sure. Maybe they would like try to push it down the middle, and they would see that maybe when you push it down the middle, um, it doesn't work. So I would ask them, okay, so do we notice a pattern here? And the students would um, say something like, yeah, we noticed that when you try to stack it in the middle, um, it doesn't work because the amount of cups that you get in the middle are too much for the amount of times you can move to the left or to the right, and it just wouldn't work. So then I would ask them, so what did you learn from this? And then the student would be like, well, we noticed that when you're stacking the cups, it isn't just random. It follows a pattern. And depending on each like amount of cups, um, the strategy would change. And they would explain why something works, right? So this is the idea of stacking cups, and it's very interesting because you notice the patterns and all the different ways you could do it. Students would play around, kind of like see what works, what doesn't work. Um, like for example, this time, uh, you can't you can't win because, well, actually, you can win because you go from this one to number one, from number one to number six. So there's different ways to do it, and the whole idea is to try to get the students to think outside the box, to think of different methods, perspectives, and just figure out how to do it. And it shows that there's clearly a math connection and a reasoning. There's patterns and there's rules. The extension would be like adding more cups. We start off at number five. Now can you do it for number six? And the reasoning would be explaining why each different amount of cups matters, right? Like it's not always going to be the same, and there's going to be a pattern depending on the amount of cups. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you.